Hello, welcome to Dark Horse Matters with Bev. This show is a podcast where people can come and share their journeys and their passions, their ambitions, their dreams in life, and it's just a place where people can come and share their journeys about how they want to make a positive impact in the community. So I only have a few episodes out so far on this new podcast. So if you are not familiar and you're just tuning in, don't forget to press the like button and subscribe, because every week I'm going to be posting a new episode with a new guest. And hopefully my goal is to inspire people to just go after their dreams, take massive action. And it's so important to have purpose in life. And if you don't know what that is yet, that's okay. But if you're not seeking it, you're not going to find it. But my hope is that with every story that I have on the show, it might inspire you to go ahead and pursue your own happiness. And in this country, we are so lucky that we have that freedom to pursue our happiness. So today's guest is somebody that I've known a long time. We reconnected recently at our 20-year high school reunion. It was, well, not that recent. It was September of 2016.
You're aging us. No.
Where we've known each other a long time. We weren't in the same circle of friends in high school, but I do remember having classes with her, and I always remembered looking at her as someone who carried herself very. I always thought she was a very intelligent person, and she always carried herself with such confidence, and she knew how to speak with confidence, and I always looked up to her because of that. So and I just want to tell you guys about what an amazing person she is because of the important work that she's doing. She teaches young Keikis, our children, how to have communication skills on a collegiate level. And I just think that is so amazing. And it's important work that really, really needs to be done. And it's, kids, when they learn these skills at a young age, it builds confidence at a young age. And that's how we produce leaders in this world. And God knows we need more of those, right? So
Amen.
I would like to introduce you to a good friend of mine. Her name is Sharon Lau.
Hi. Thank you so much, Bev, for having me. I'm Sharon. I certainly remember you from high school. We didn't have the same group of friends like you mentioned, but I remember seeing you in class and in the hallways, and you were just always very congenial and so warm and friendly, along with your sister, your twin sister as well. So it's so wonderful to reconnect and be on your podcast here as well and support you through this beautiful process. And what a wonderful message. Going after your dreams, having purpose, so critical these days. Wonderful job, Bev.
Thank you so much, Sharon, for being on my show. I really appreciate you. And I just can't wait to get into diving into your important work that you're doing for
Thank you.
the community. So I just wanted to start off by asking you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, do you have any brothers and sisters? Like, just tell me about your family and growing up. What was that like growing up in Hawaii?
Sure. So, of course, like you, Kaneohe girl, I grew up in Kaneohe, born and raised in Kaneohe, and I was an only child. I'm an only child. And family life, in terms of how I grew up, my dad was in the military. So he was on deployments as a naval officer. My mom, very strong, held down the fort. And that is kind of how life was, and what essentially I remember was about my mother just being very strong and my dad also being a very strong leadership influence as well. So both very strong parental figures in my life. And growing up, I did attend private school for a bit, and then I was at Castle later, where I got to meet some wonderful people whom I still connect with to this day, who still inspire me, such as yourself. So just very blessed to be from the islands, and then, growing up with the spirit of aloha, of course, ingrained into all of us. Very special experience.
I can totally see that about you having a parent from the military and having such strong. I didn't know that you were an only child. I didn't know that. That's crazy that I'm learning something new about you today. But Yes, I just remember in high school, like I remember one class, I think it was economics maybe, freshman year. I don't even remember our teacher's name, but we had a project that we had to do together. I don't even know if you remember this. It was a group project. It was like four of us, I think, and we had to present in front of the class. And I just remember you just, nailing it because I was so nervous. Like before it was, I mean, it was just, people we went to school with every day. But when you get up in front of the class and you speak in front of everybody, like I just remember feeling like I wanted to throw up first, you know? And I
Sure.
just remember you when you did your part, you just nailed it. And I was just like, wow, she's so smart, like and I that's one of the memories that I have of you. And I just think it's so cool that this is what you do for a living now, with communication.
That
So,
is so kind of you to share because I I certainly I grew up shy actually, and you wouldn't know that about me based on what I do professionally. I teach public speaking, I train in public speaking for youth and adults, but I grew up very shy and I preferred to keep to myself. And then I really blossomed later throughout college. And maybe that moment in high school was a shining moment for me, but I was actually pretty shy. So thank you though for that fond memory of myself. And you were just always so warm and friendly. And so it was so great to have you in the classes that I did have and have that connection with you, Bev.
I wanted to ask you, like, as far as leadership experience growing up, like when I remember growing up in elementary school, I was exposed to it a lot, like in leadership camp, I remember in elementary school. And then I don't know, I guess through King Intermediate. Did you go to King also?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay. I was like, my memory, I didn't see you, before Castle. So I was like, couldn't remember. But I don't remember like having much leadership experience in King and Castle as I did in elementary school, which is kind of weird. But and then, later in high school, it was more through church that I got leadership experience. Can you tell me, like, did you have any leadership experience early in life and just learning communication skills, like early, like in elementary school or before high school?
I have always felt that there was never enough focus on the communications aspect, in terms of developing the skill, practicing the skill, opportunities to shine in the skill and growing within the skill. There's not enough opportunities in our youth. And even to this day, I still feel like there is a serious deficit in the communications skills department, learning and growing and becoming a more proficient communicator. For myself, growing up, I felt as though while I didn't have formal opportunities for leadership, I did attend a leadership camp here and there. But I think for myself, I was the emergent leader in group work. And that just comes down to survival. That just comes down to we've got to get this done. Certain people are taking charge, certain people are not, certain people prefer to be behind the scenes or not even producing the work necessary. Have you been there as
Right.
well? And so I found myself in terms of leadership becoming the emergent leader. So just kind of doing what I had to do to get the grade, to survive, kind of just whatever it took in terms of the leadership component.
Um, in college, what college did you go to, and like what did you major in? Like, what was your actual field of study?
Sure. So in college, it's funny that I fell into communications. It wasn't something that I distinctly pursued. I was attending University of North Dakota, and that was with my husband Sean because he was in flight school there. And I was actually pursuing dietetics and nutrition. I wanted to help others be healthy, and that was a focus of mine until I noticed that I had struggled with the science aspect, the microbiology, the physiology, the heavy science component. I really struggled. However, I excelled in the counseling component, the interpersonal component, the communications component. And that is what led me to pursuing communications for my bachelor's degree at Arizona State University, where I did earn a summa cum laude BA in communication studies. And then following that, I wanted to pursue more within communications, being so inspired by my professors, you know, teaching within communications and supporting and motivating us to be our very best. And that led me to desiring to teach at the collegiate level. And so with that, I ventured off to Gonzaga University, and I received my Master of Arts in Communication and Leadership, and that was in about 2011 or so. So that was my journey. I didn't start off, planning for the communications role. I kind of fell into it, and I grew to love it truly.
That's amazing. And like I said, if you don't know what you want in life yet, that's okay because you find your way when you look for it. Like you never end up where you start. That's really rare. Like even me, like I'm a dental hygienist today. That's like my day job. And in the beginning, when I set off to move to Los Angeles, I wanted to be a rock star. That's the reason why I went out there. I wanted to play guitar and write music, and then I working retail is what led me into dental hygiene. Even though I worked at a dentist office in high school, I just my true passion was music, but it led me into a different path. Working retail, I ended up finding myself in the dental office just because I guess my coworker was a dental assistant, and I ended up being a patient. And it's just weird how life kind of leads you in a certain way. You never even would realize that's where you're going until you experience and meet people. And I'm very passionate about what I do as well. But yeah, it's just crazy. You have to, when you look for something, you just have to just go for it. And then the doors will open you up for you, and you will find your way to what you're passionate about. So it's so important. And like a lot of times people are so afraid to fail, I don't want to do that. It's too hard, or you know what I mean? Like, but how are you gonna know if you don't try or you just don't do it?
Absolutely. Put yourself out there. And it's so important too. And what I tell my adult clients, and of course my Keiki students as well, is that you don't know until you try. And you know what? You don't grow until you get uncomfortable. That's when the real growth happens. That's when you're able to reflect and look at, well, how far have I come? What have I done to get here? But you got to take risk in order to get to that point as well.
Yes, it's so important. Like getting comfortable with being uncomfortable is such a difficult thing to do, but
It is.
and it just gets easier. That whole thing about being uncomfortable, what you're uncomfortable with gets easier every single time you do it. So, I mean,
Absolutely.
I believe in that. I'm a total believer. So, tell me about what you're doing now. Like what I see all these videos of you on Instagram, and these kids that just look so excited. And I love following you on social media because it just inspires me to see these young kids doing what they're doing. So can you tell the audience a little bit about what you're doing?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you so much for the love, the support, and the encouragement. It means a lot. You know how it is. You have your own business, and you're kind of assessing, daily as to where you are, where you want to be, and is this the right move for you in terms of the trajectory that you've created for yourself. So thank you, Bev. You're so positive and encouraging, and I do appreciate that. So I began this journey with the public speaking training for Keiki about 4 years ago. Prior to that, I had taught at the collegiate level. And while I enjoyed teaching the college kids and so forth, I always felt that I wanted to reach out to our Hawaii Keiki and build them in some aspect of communications, knowing that there's been a deficit. There's not enough focus. And one of the key components of personal and professional success is effective communication. I mean, we all know this, we all recognize this. And so, about 4 years ago, I began designing, creating course curriculum based in public speaking and interview prep, and then also leadership development courses in order to empower, embolden, and equip our Keiki here with greater opportunities for success, because we know communications is crucial.
Right. And I was just thinking a lot about this recently, just, looking at my kids. I have a 8-year-old and a 9-year-old, and they're I can having conversations with them now, they just understand things on a different level. And I realize I have to really focus on teaching them how to really express their what's on their mind. It's so important. And when you learn communication skills at a young age, it just produces confidence. And confidence, I mean, we don't emphasize, if anything, we put so much pressure on our kids today that the confidence, it just goes down. Like, but, and it, over time, this kind of pressure and, lack of communication skills, it creates this tape. It's like a reoccurring tape that plays in your head. And if you're not confident, if that reoccurring tape isn't confidence and, positive self-talk and, just telling yourself that you can do anything, like that kind of that tape, that dialogue that you have with yourself, we don't get taught that at a young age. And for me, like, confidence is so important. Like, when you have a whole lifetime of that negative tape playing, I'm not good enough or whatever's, it's so much more difficult to change that and turn it around when you're a grown up. Like, like I said, you can't teach old dogs new tricks. I don't believe in that. I think anyone can learn anything if they want to. But if you have that, it's kind of embedded into your DNA at that point, it's so difficult to change that behavior. So when you,
Sure.
I just really, really admire what you're doing with these young kids, because you're instilling this belief in them that they can do it, and when they go out there and they do their presentation and they're so proud of themselves, like, it just instills confidence in them. And it's so important to really, really just put that in our Keiki, at a young age. So I really think that's amazing.
That's just, thank you so much for sharing that. And it's absolutely true. We're looking for the building blocks. What are they here? And confidence being just superior in that aspect. We want to grow, we want to develop, we want to excel, but we have to have the confidence in order to do that. And like you mentioned, inner dialogue, huge. How are we building ourselves up throughout the day? And how are we building others up as well throughout the day? So the collegiate based courses that I've created, we do focus on speech writing and also speech deliveries. It also enhances thought structure and organization, being in this course as well, which is huge. We all want to be more structured, in the way that we speak, knowing that we have few opportunities to really impact and influence others. So we want to make that time as positive as possible, but confidence being just primary in this course, building yourself up, building others up in this course to achieve greatness in any capacity.
Yes, that's so amazing. I really can't wait to see more of what you do. Like, I know right now your focus with these kids is just local, right, in Hawaii. Um, do you have any desire to scale your business like nationwide, or, because I just feel like, man, it would be so amazing for more kids to really benefit from what you're doing?
Sure, yes, absolutely. I do have plans to create course content that will be accessible nationally and so forth, because that's huge. I do have growing interest from friends with Keiki that are across the globe, basically. And right there we go. Hi, Bev. And these courses being as unique as they are collegiate based. So what I've done is modified the course content that I would have delivered, the curriculum that I would have delivered for the college student, and made it fun, relatable, and upbeat for the Keiki. So the growth process is real in this. And you see it, on my IG, you can experience it through classes. But yes, that is in the works, that is in the process of development right now. And I would love to reach more Keiki and empower more Keiki, of course, as well.
So, just, with what you're doing, like, what kind of impact do you, like, wish to make on the community with this program that you're offering? Like, how do you see, like, all of this work that you're doing? How do you see it panning out, like, within the next 5 years or so?
In terms of looking forward and to the future, my goal is just to impact as many Keiki as possible. If I can change one life, two life, 30 lives, that just means the most to me. Empowering others through communication and teaching communication, because this is the foundation of success in personal relationships, business relationships. Communication is the manner in which we influence, persuade, motivate, inspire, negotiate, lead. It all comes down to our ability to convey our messages, our ideas, our thoughts, our opinions in a positive manner, and then be able to empower others as well. So that is my focus. And in terms of the 5-year span or future, I'm just looking to enhance the skill sets of as many keiki as possible. And then, of course, I do work with adults on the side. And with those clients, I am doing the same work. However, these individuals are established as entrepreneurs or as business professionals, and they're just looking to enhance their impact positively and, through that, through communication. So very bright ahead in terms of a future for communications, learning, and growing within such an important skill set.
So with the adults that you work with, is it mostly just like one-on-one coaching that you do? Um,
Absolutely. So the Keiki classes are typically group classes unless I have a parent that reaches out to me and says, he or she could really use some one-on-one coaching or training in terms of a program, and I can design the curriculum for that and facilitate training in that. But yes, for the adults, it is one-on-one, and it's primarily through Zoom right now, like how we are doing. Many of us have had to pivot with our businesses. Typically the courses are done one-on-one, and in terms of a physical setting, that can happen as well for the adult clients. But now we're on Zoom, and it's working out well in terms of flexibility for my clients. And we're in a good place right now in terms of the landscape and how I conduct these trainings.
that's great. Can you share with us any specific stories, like maybe from when a child first started your program and where they came, like where they ended up at the end? Can you share any specific stories of any kids or adults, that they went through? Like, how did the journey that they went through from the beginning of your course to the end?
Absolutely. So I've had, adult clients in the past, and what I do notice is that when the conviction, clarity, and commitment is there from an individual, you're going to see tremendous growth. And ultimately, as a trainer, I mean, that just makes, you so incredibly happy. That's what you're looking for. You want to see that growth. You want to see that level of skill attainment that is possible with every individual. And what I love is reflecting on these experiences that I've had. And, you know, it's hard to isolate just one, because over the past 4 years, I've had many students come to the program, but just this process of growth, from being shy or being meek and being uncomfortable without confidence in the learning setting, to shoulders back, projecting your voice, smile, facial expression, and delivering a message that they're passionate about. That is truly meaningful to me. Just this growth process, and watching these keiki shine, or my adult clients shine in whatever capacity that they're in. That is just huge for me as a trainer and as an educator. And I look forward to many more years of this, God willing.
Do you ever do you think that, like, this program, like, do you see that it helps, like, maybe the kids communicate even with their parents, like their skills on just communicating with their friends, their parents, and their teachers? Because, like, a lot of times when growing up, if you don't have that confidence, you don't know how to ask for help, you don't know how to, you know what I mean? Like, and I just see your program, having an impact on that, like, just with kids having more confidence on just communicating with even their parents.
Absolutely. So within the study of communications, within practicing effective communication, you grow, you become confident, you can become more comfortable in different contexts. So you're thinking in terms of, okay, personally, what are the relationships that I hold, within the household or at school? And then, of course, if you're outside of school, that's going to be academic and so forth. And it trickles into everywhere. Growing your confidence as a communicator, learning to structure and organize your thoughts effectively. It's going to create messages that are positive and impactful. So it has a trickle effect into various contexts. And imagine, I mean, having this opportunity as a child and then growing with that, and what you can become. What are the possibilities as an adult to lead, to motivate, to influence? It's all there because the positive building blocks are there. And so that's what the goal here is, to empower, embolden, and equip others through communication, studies, and practice and training.
That is so great. I'm so excited for your program, and I just wish the best. And I really, really hope that a lot of people, more people, can see what you're doing. So with that being said, like, how can people find you? How can people learn more about your program, and where can they follow?
Yes, please follow me on IG, Instagram, Sharon Lau Consulting, where I feature my Keiki work and then also my adult one-on-one clients. I have feedback and testimonials from them as well. So you can find me on Instagram, Sharon Lau Consulting. And then I also have my website as well, sharonlauconsulting.com. And the growth is real here. I'm humbled and blessed to be doing what I do and impacting the lives of others positively. That is always my goal, my intent, and to just watch others flourish within communications, because it is something that is so necessary and there's just not enough focus on. But once you gain that skill, how many lives are you going to impact with that? And what is your growth going to be? And how are you going to experience more success based on your enhanced communication skill set?
All right. Thank you so much, Sharon. I love your story. I love what you're doing with these Kiki and the community. And I just can't wait to see, all these kids and this, I'll watch you on Instagram and see everyone, just their growth is just so exciting for me. And I just wish you the best. And I hope everyone who's watching this, take note and please follow her on Instagram. It's so inspiring to watch these kids do what they do. So, yes, so that's it for today's episode. I am so excited that Sharon came to share her story with us. And just please stay tuned. There is more to come. Every single week, I'm going to have a new guest that's going to inspire more stories, more people, and to go after their dreams. So thank you so much, and I will see you next week.
Thank you, Bev.